Yeah, magazine drop, I'm back. Yeah, freshman of the year, no cap at all. Yeah.
What's up, gang? And I'm here with my crew today, Adam and David, and we're gonna talk about what's going on in the college football world today. So, how was you guys' days today?
I'm doing great. You know, I this weekend, this year in general, is going to be awesome for college football. And you know, we've got a lot of games to talk about. Mizzou not having the best of seasons, but you know, some other teams are.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I mean, we're getting a little bit further down the stretch in college football this year, and we're getting closer to the college football playoffs coming up on the horizon. So I'm sure we're going to have some teams that are on the bubble that we're talking about later on in the show.
Man, first of all, let's talk about the college football playoffs. Cincy. Do y'all think Cincy should be top four? Because I definitely think they should be top four.
I think they should be top four.
Absolutely.
I do think Cincy belongs in. I think they will get in too.
I hope they get in.
I mean, look, I understand they're playing close games, but they're winning them, and they beat Notre Dame, a top 10 team on the road, which is a top 3 win in college football. I think Cincy should be in.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, the games have to matter, right? And Cincinnati's playing games and they're winning games. That has to count for something, right?
And they've been dominating majority of their games this season.
Absolutely.
So. They went into Notre Dame and beat them and handedly beat
they
them.
really destroyed them. The score don't really show how bad
Notre
they
Dame kind
beat
of came
them.
back again, but I was never worried that Cincinnati was going to lose this game.
Yeah.
Never.
All right, let's get to the game. Some of the games, the big games that's going on this week. So the first game that we're about to get into is Baylor versus Oklahoma. Baylor is number 13 and Oklahoma is number 8. Who do y'all think will win this matchup, and how do you think they'll win this matchup?
Man, I think Oklahoma is probably going to take this one. I think Caleb Williams has brought a new swagger to this offense.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I think Oklahoma will lose at some point. They're going to have to beat Oklahoma State twice.
Yes.
Once in another season, and once the Big 12 championship. I don't think they can do that twice. However, I do think Oklahoma takes this one. Baylor's okay. Nothing wrong with Baylor as a squad, but I think Caleb Williams gets the job done here for Oklahoma. High scoring like the Big 12. I'm going Oklahoma 40, Baylor 33.
Okay, that's good.
Tend to agree here. I think Oklahoma, just top to bottom, has the better squad. I think that hasn't necessarily been laid out in the college football rankings, but I think Oklahoma has probably one of the top 6 teams in the country right now, and I think they're just going to cruise to victory this week over Baylor as well. Like David said, Caleb Williams, leaders lead, and he's leading this team in a way that Spencer Rattler really never was able to. And I think that leadership aspect that's completely new to this team is going to carry him over the top this week. I like Oklahoma 52, Baylor 40. High scoring affair.
Yeah. No love for Baylor? I mean, come on now.
No love for the Bears.
Man, I don't know. For this game, I really don't know because I love Caleb Williams and he has resurged this offense. Yeah. The offense looked way better than versus when Spencer Rattler was taking over.
Yeah.
This season unranked, and I think at some point that's going to end up showing up. Ohio State isn't the best team in the country. They're not the second best team in the country. They might not be 3rd or 4th, but they're better than Purdue. I like Ohio State. It's Big Ten, so it's going to be a bit of a lower scoring affair. I like Ohio State 21. We'll go Purdue 14.
I like that score overall. I'm also going with the Buckeyes in this one. Purdue, let me get this right. Purdue has taken some big wins. Iowa on the road was an amazing win. I mean, it's hard to win there in Kinnick. Yeah. And then taking down Michigan State at home was also a really big win. But I will also say that Michigan State coming off a hangover game. I also think Michigan State's very good. I think Michigan State ends this year with maybe 3 losses, and I don't think that's a very hot take at all. I think they lose to Ohio State. I think they could lose to Penn State in a couple weeks.
Penn State? You sure?
Penn State's not bad. Penn State's not bad.
They kind of fell off. I ain't gonna lie.
It's in Penn State too. It's in Pennsylvania. So, but I'm going Ohio State in this one. I do think C.J. Stroud is figuring out this offense. He looks pretty comfortable. Purdue, we have the wins all they want. Purdue's also been blown out by Wisconsin by 20 at Purdue, and they've also lost to the Minnesota Gophers at home too. So
that's true.
Ohio State
Gophers, as we know, not a good team.
They're not good. They're not good, and Purdue has quality wins, but also pretty bad losses. I'm going Ohio State in this one, 35-20.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you guys. Like y'all said, I don't think Ohio State is as great as everybody portrayed them to be. I mean, they started off very slow in the beginning of the season. C.J. Stroud did not look like a Heisman candidate at all at first, but he got comfortable in his offense, and he started picking everything up. But then again, they do have a great freshman running back in Trevion Henderson. He is very good. They also have, I think, the best wide receiver room in the country, Jackson Smith, Chris Olave. Garrett Wilson, G. Scott, Julian Fleming. I can just go on for days.
Yeah.
They are really performing and really helping CJ Stroud out. But that defense, it gets the job done.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do fold. But I definitely think Ohio State is going to come out with a win. Do I think they're going to be top 4 by playoff time? We will see, because I really don't know.
They gotta win out. They gotta win out. I mean, and I think they totally can. They gotta go. They still have to play Michigan State. They still have to play Michigan.
Yeah.
You know, they still play both those teams.
And Michigan is a great team.
Michigan's good. Michigan's still really good.
I think this the year they beat them.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I want to see Michigan
I
beat
hope
Ohio
so
State.
too.
But yeah, it'll be a good game. But we all think Ohio State's taking this one. There we go.
Yep. On to the next game. So we got Texas A&M versus Ole Miss. Texas A&M is coming out of a shutout win versus a good Auburn team, and Ole Miss is coming off of a victory last week too. Who do you think will win this game?
It's game day. It's game day. It's in Oxford. This is where the crew is heading. A&M coming off the big win at Bo Nix. Made Bo Nix look lost. I mean, really. And, Ole Miss has always had that high power offense. They look really good this year. At home, I'm going to go with the Rebels. I think that Ole Miss takes this one. I think that Ole Miss is going to put up some points. A&M's offense is still kind of iffy. They have a great running back room. Don't get me wrong. We've seen it here in Missouri. But Matt Corral is a Heisman caliber player, first-round quarterback in the NFL draft. I'm going Ole Miss 30-24.
I like Ole Miss in this matchup as well. It's no secret that I'm a big fan of Lane Kiffin. I think what he's done for this Ole Miss program is very admirable, and I think that he's elevated them to a new level that maybe isn't necessarily reflected in their rankings right now. And I also think Texas A&M is overranked right now, kind of artificially propping Alabama up on the part of the committee, which is unfortunate because Texas A&M, if you look back at their schedule this year, they barely scraped by a god-awful Colorado team earlier on this year. They barely scraped by, won that game by just a touchdown.
It was 10-3 or something like that?
10-3, yeah.
Something like that. It was bad.
I think this Ole Miss team is going to give Texas A&M more than they can handle. I think A&M is going to put up a couple touchdowns garbage time, maybe keep it a little bit closer on the scorebook than it should be. But I'm going to go Ole Miss 30, Texas A&M 23.
I'm kind of indecisive about this game because Ole Miss offense is amazing. But if we're being honest, Matt Corral is that offense.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Ole Miss is not going against a slouch defense. This defense has been really picking it up over these past 3 weeks. They have held teams to no more than 14 points over these past 3 weeks, and they just shut out a good Auburn team in my eyes. But their offense still is iffy. But Ole Miss's defense is terrible, like very terrible. So I ain't gonna lie, I'm a big believer in defense wins championships. So I'm gonna take Texas A&M just because they have a way better defense. Yeah. And I feel like Calzada, even though he's had an okay season against this defense, I feel like anybody can throw and run against this defense. So it's gonna be a close game. I feel like the score is gonna be between 27-30.
All right.
27-30.
I like that.
I like one thing you mentioned as well. This is a big what-if scenario here.
Yeah.
But if A&M, they lost to Mississippi State this year. Imagine if they don't lose that game. They're one loss on the year. They're probably in the top 10. Probably pretty close.
But
one loss A&M beating Bama.
Bama.
They're probably in the top. Probably in the playoff race for sure.
I don't think Mississippi State is a bad team. They have a good offense too, but their defense is terrible.
They have a good quarterback.
They have a
Will
good
Rogers
quarterback.
Is awesome.
They have a good system, a good scheme. I feel like, and they do have a good quarterback.
Egg Bowl at the end of the year with Miss State. Ole Miss will be a fun game.
That's going to be a very fun game.
A high scoring game for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, some bad blood there every year, but it'll be a good one to watch for sure.
So the next game, the best for last, what everybody's been waiting for: Mizzou versus South Carolina. Man, we have a lot to say about Mizzou.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Connor Bazelak is still questionable for this game. And if he doesn't play, then they're probably going to rotate Tyler Macon and Brady Cook again. So who do you guys think will win this matchup?
I'll go first this time.
Go ahead.
Jumped in on the last one.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I am a big Tyler Macon fan.
Yes.
I've been a big fan of Tyler Macon since he came out of high school. And I think that he brings an aspect to this offense that Connor Bazelak simply just doesn't necessarily bring. And I think if Tyler Macon is the starting quarterback this week, if he takes the majority of the snaps this week, I think Mizzou has a legitimate chance. South Carolina is coming off a very big win over a Florida Gators team that really isn't as bad as they played last week. That could spell disaster for South Carolina. That could be a hangover game potentially this week against Mizzou. If Mizzou can fly under the wire, and if Tyler Macon can make some trick plays happen, make some surprise plays happen, I think Mizzou can squeak this one out.
Maybe. I think I like a lot of things he said. One thing I mentioned about South Carolina, not only did they beat Florida, this Florida team, they killed them too. And not only that, Florida was legitimately an extra point away from going to overtime with Bama. At the beginning of the year. They were in overtime. They missed an extra point, which means they had to go over 2 in the game. But this Florida team was legit, and South Carolina just went in there. Mizzou, we'll see Florida next week. But I'm making a decree. If Connor Bazelak plays quarterback for the Missouri Tigers, they will lose. If Tyler Macon plays quarterback for the Missouri Tigers, they will win. I think Tyler Macon deserves to be the starting quarterback. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, David, that's crazy to say. Macon barely played last week, and they didn't even score a touchdown against Georgia last week. Which I understand, yeah, that's fair. But
they was going against a legendary defense.
They were going against
so I don't even blame them.
greatest defense of all time.
I don't blame them.
They were against the greatest defense of all time.
Yes.
What I will say is this. From the poise that Tyler Macon showed last week, and not only that, but how brutal Connor Bazelak has been the past 3-ish weeks. Tyler Macon needs to start for this team. I like Brady Cook too. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't a Brady Cook fan, but last week I thought he was okay. Even against the Georgia defense, I thought he was okay. I think Tyler Macon needs to start for this team. I really, really do. And I think if he does, I think they can beat South Carolina. If Bazelak plays through an injury, if he plays, I don't think Drink's ever going to bench him because he's just so stubborn about benching his quarterbacks mid-game. And he's not going to play well. 1, he's injured, and 2, he's bad.
Well, first of all, I
nothing
think
against Connor Bazelak. That was gonna mean nothing against Connor Bazelak.
Connor is a good quarterback.
Did he cut you off?
I believe in Connor. I believe in Connor. He's a good quarterback. He had a good season last year, and sometimes people struggle, man. But for this game, man, I think Mizzou is gonna blow by South Carolina. South Carolina's offense is terrible. First of all, they've went through 3 quarterbacks this season, and their most recent quarterback, he has like 975 yards on the season.
It's unacceptable.
Not great.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. Even though Mizzou's defense, rushing defense to be specific, is very questionable. I feel like that Mizzou's defense is going to step up this game and stop South Carolina because it's not hard to stop South Carolina. Yeah. And Mizzou's offense is going to score points. They always score points. Tyler Beatty, I think, is a top 3 running back in college football. He does not get the recognition he deserves. If Tyler Macon or Brady Cook play, I feel like both of them would do a good job against South Carolina. It's South Carolina, like I said. I expect them to do good. So I think Mizzou is going to blow by this team. I give them 30-10.
Wow, I like that. And there's one thing that you mentioned, what we failed to mention, is that Mizzou has Tyler Beatty. South Carolina does not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Mizzou bias coming out, but we all know what Beatty can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Mizzou wins 30-24. I think it's closer than people think.
Yeah, I'll go 35-28, and I think, like you mentioned, Tyler Beatty, here's my bold statement of the week. Tyler Beatty is going to be the best player on the football field on Saturday.
Of course, every Saturday.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. Well, today has been a great show. Yeah. I really appreciate you guys coming on today, and see you guys next week.